and welcome back to Mad's Tea Party, the channel run by a girl who does not drink tea. Today I'm going to be making another tier list ranking video, but this time I'm going to be making it with Disney World rides. So I found this tier list on the website called Tiermaker. I did not make this tier list. It was made by someone called Addie_Wood. I'll put her Twitter in the description, but she's the one who made this, not me. So first I'm going to introduce to you the tiers in this tier list. The top tier is called Legendary, Innovative, Everything We Could Have Asked For, and More. The next tier is Iconic. For this, I'm just going to put in rides that I really like and appreciate, but I don't think they're quite top tier. Next step down is Iconic 2. Also iconic, but tier 2 attractions. Next down is Must Ride. Not quite iconic, but definitely willing to go on every time I visit. Next down is Will Ride If I Have Time. Most of these I feel like are pretty self-explanatory. And then the next one down is Meh. And then the bottom tier is Throw the Whole Ride Away. Unfortunately, Stitch's Great Escape is not a part of this tier list because this is as of January of 2020, so Stitch's Great Escape was already gone, but just so you know, if I could rank Stitch's Great Escape, I would be throwing the whole ride away. So let's get started. I'm going to start with Magic Kingdom attractions, just for fun. So the first ride here is the Magic Carpets of Aladdin. This ride gets a lot of hate, and I understand why. A lot of people are like, it's an unnecessary Dumbo clone, which it kind of is, and they think that it takes up space in Adventureland that would be better filled with a walking pathway, which is, again, a valid argument. Me personally, it's one of my favorite Dumbo clones, so I'm not totally against it. It's probably right after Astro Orbiter in terms of Dumbo clones for me, and I like that you can rock it back and forth, and I like the spinning camel, so I'm not gonna throw the ride away, but I'm going to put it in meh. There it goes. Next up is Pirates of the Caribbean. If this was the Disneyland version, it would be a top tier ride. The Disneyland version of Pirates of the Caribbean, I really don't feel like anybody's gonna fight me on this one, but it's vastly superior to the Disney World version. So for that reason, I can't put it in the top tier. I'm just gonna put it in Iconic. I may move it, but for now that's where it's gonna stay. Next up is Journey of the Little Mermaid. This ride, part of me loves it because it never has a line. It's nice to just sit in the air conditioning. I usually do this one almost every time I go to Magic Kingdom just because it's such an easy ride. A lot of the other ones, you know, get really backed up during the day, but this one generally stays at a pretty low wait time. It's pretty enjoyable. But as far as dark rides go, I feel like it's on the lower end of them. It's not really top tier for me, and so for that reason, I can't put it in any of the iconic statuses. I'm just gonna put this in Will Ride if I have time. If I have time, of course I will do the Little Mermaid ride. It's enjoyable enough, but it is not iconic, and it's not even remotely the best ride in the park. I forgot to say this before I started, but obviously these are just my opinions. Like, I'm not the end-all be-all for Disney rides. If you like a ride and I don't, that's great. But like, this is my channel, so I'm just gonna talk about whatever I want, I guess. Next up is Jungle Cruise. Fun fact, I used to hate the Jungle Cruise. I thought it was corny and stupid and not a good ride. But as I have grown in my appreciation for the Disney parks, I understand that the Jungle Cruise is like a top tier attraction. I wouldn't say that it's like one of my favorites, but I think I'm going to put it in Iconic just because it's a really good ride. Next up is Dumbo, and this ride is also iconic, but to be honest, it's kind of boring, and it's not even the best ride for this ride style at Disney World, so I'm gonna have to put it in also iconic, but not, what is this tier called? Also iconic, but tier 2 icons. It's definitely a must ride once though. Like, if you've never done Dumbo, then for sure do it. Oh, well, now that makes me think it should go in must ride. But not every time, so no. Next up is Mad Tea Party. I do actually really enjoy the Mad Tea Party. I love the aesthetic of the ride, and I think it belongs in probably Will Ride if I have time, or Iconic, but tier 2. It's iconic. It's iconic. It's just a tier 2 iconic for me. Next, It's a Small World. I really like It's a Small World. I know a lot of people don't like it, and again, for good reason. My boyfriend hates it because when he was 5 years old, he waited in the line for It's a Small World for 3 hours in the blazing hot sun because the line was so long that it stretched outside of the queue. And I cannot blame him for hating It's a Small World. When I took him to Magic Kingdom with me, he refused to go on it for most of the day. I eventually did get him on it, and he tried to act like he enjoyed it, but I know that he didn't because he still has that memory in his head. So I get why people don't like it, but I personally do. I think it's adorable, and I love the colors, and Mary Blair is an icon, so yeah, this is an iconic attraction. It changed my mind. Next up is Winnie the Pooh, and I like this ride a lot. I think that it's a worthy addition to Fantasyland, and I go on it a lot more than other rides at Magic Kingdom because, again, the wait times are usually reasonable. That said, I don't think it's a must ride. I think it falls somewhere within the Little Mermaid category of I'll ride it if I have time to, so that's where I'm going to put it. Next up is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. This ride always has a long line. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure why. I think everyone should ride it at least once. I think it's a good enough coaster for that. For me, I don't ride it every time I go to the park just because the line is so long. But usually when I do, I just hop in line like 5 minutes before the park closes so that I'm not wasting an hour and a half of my day in line for this kiddie coaster because let's face it, that's what it is. So I am not putting this in legendary and innovative because it's not. It's not iconic. I guess it's a must ride. If you're going to Disney World for like a vacation, definitely ride Mine Train. But for me as a local, I don't ride it all the time because I don't need to. Next is Carousel of Progress, and I did not expect to see this one on here because I don't actually consider this a ride. I consider it a show, but it's the Carousel of Progress. I like it fine. I understand that people find it boring. I think it has a lot of history that I really appreciate, but if I'm being honest, it needs a total overhaul, and it needs to go in will ride if I have time or meh. But I think it's definitely better than Magic Carpets of Aladdin, so will ride if I have time. The Walt Disney World Railroad. Aw, this one I kind of forget exists all the time because it's been closed for like 2 years now. It's been closed for a really long time because of Tron. So another reason that I can't wait for Tron to open because I want the Walt Disney World Railroad back. It's been so long since I've been on this ride, I don't even feel like I can accurately place it in here. But I never really did it as much because comparing it to the Disneyland Railroad, which is so awesome. It has the dioramas. New Orleans Square Station is right next to the Mint Julep Bar, so you can get yourself some beignets and hop on the train and look at the Dinosaur diorama and the Grand Canyon diorama and just soak in the magic of Disneyland. But they don't have that at Disney World. There's nothing special about the Walt Disney World Railroad, really. I'm struggling where to put this one. It's kind of iconic, but I'm not sure it's iconic enough to be placed in one of the iconic tiers. I'm thinking maybe I just put it in meh. Maybe I move it later, but that's kind of what I'm feeling right now, so. Haunted Mansion, yes. Okay, this is not even a question. She's going to the top of the list. Legendary, innovative, everything we could have asked for and more. Haunted Mansion is the best ride at Disney. I know that other rides are technically more advanced, but Haunted Mansion is the best ride at Disney, and anyone who thinks otherwise can fight me. I will stand by the Haunted Mansion. Peter Pan's Flight. Okay, so this one is interesting because I almost never did this before coronavirus because the line was always so long because of FastPass. Don't even get me started on FastPass. Now that it's only standby, the line is actually manageable, and I find myself doing Peter Pan's Flight almost every time that I go to Magic Kingdom, which is crazy because before I did it maybe once every couple of visits, maybe. So I actually might put this one in must ride because I love Peter Pan's flight the more that I ride it. All right, so the carousel. I think it's okay. I think it's fine. When you think Magic Kingdom, that's one of the things that you think of. I feel like it's fairly iconic, but at some level it's just a carousel. You can find that in any local carnival. A carousel is nothing special, and I feel like just because it's at Disney World doesn't make it any more special necessarily. So I can't really put it in iconic because there's no Imagineering behind it that makes it a special carousel or anything like that. It's just a carousel. I might put it in Will Ride if I have time though, because going around in circles looking at Fantasyland is kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. The Barnstormer. This is a cute little kiddie coaster. I know I'm not the ideal audience for this ride. It's made for kids. I enjoy it. I go on it every once in a while because usually the line isn't too crazy, but I don't think that it's necessarily iconic enough. It's not a must ride. I feel like it's just meh. Like, it's just a standard kiddie coaster with a little bit of goofy theming, and I enjoy it just fine. I mean, unless it goes in the throw the whole ride away tier, I enjoy the ride. Let me just put that out there. Everything that is above that tier, I enjoy. Obviously, I love Disney, and I think Disney mostly doesn't come out with anything that is a terrible ride. So, that out there, it's meh. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I love this ride. It's so good, so fun. I think it's iconic. I don't think it's quite top tier. Like, I cannot, in good conscience, put this up with the Haunted Mansion, but it can go with Small World, Pirates and Jungle Cruise. I think it earns that title. It's an excellent ride, super fun, so it's iconic. Astro Orbiter. I think this one kind of has to go in Will Ride if I have time, because I said before, it is definitely better than the Magic Carpets of Aladdin, so I can't put it in meh. And yeah, it's a pretty fun ride. I remember one time I did the Astro Orbiter back when the Main Street Electrical Parade was still at Magic Kingdom. I was on this ride during the parade, and I saw it going down Main Street as I was riding the ride, and for some reason that's just kind of stuck in my mind forever. So I really like the Astro Orbiter. I like that it's super high off the ground. You get, you know, a little bit of thrill factor from the height. So yeah, I like Astro Orbiter. The only downside for this ride is the line is always super long, and it's really inconvenient to like wait in line, go up the elevator, wait to get on the ride. It's just a lot, so I don't usually do it, but every time that I do, I really enjoy it. Next is the Riverboat, and honestly, I forget about this ride all the time because it is so boring. Every time I do this ride, I almost regret doing it because I could have spent that time doing something more fun. It wastes like a half hour of your day just on the rivers of America sailing around. And if you have tons of time and not much else to do, if it's a really crowded day and you just want to sit and take in the vibes of Frontierland and Liberty Square, then this is the ideal attraction for you. But if you're like me and you're kind of a go person, even if you're trying to have an easy day, this is not the ride for you. I'm putting it in meh because I have one ride that I'm gonna put and throw it away, and I just can't put this on the same level as that ride, so meh. Space Mountain, iconic, yes. I love Space Mountain. I am 5'3", and I'm still afraid of getting decapitated on this ride, which is stupid, but yeah. I think that kind of keeps it from being legendary for me because I am genuinely afraid of dying on this ride, which again is stupid, but I love it and it's iconic. People Mover. I miss this ride so much. Disney needs to freaking fix this ride and bring it back because I miss the People Mover so much. This is my favorite ride in Tomorrowland, I'm not gonna lie. Well, it's not really an iconic ride. It's definitely a must ride. Personally, I'm like, it's legendary, it's innovative, it's everything I could have asked for and more. that I don't think that's the popular opinion. However, I'm not making this video for other people and their popular opinion. I'm making this for me, so it's legendary, it's innovative, it's everything I could have hoped for and more. Bring back the people mover, Disney, and I will keep saying this in my videos until you bring it back. Thank you very much. Next is the Tomorrowland Speedway. Again, I think this ride gets a lot of, not necessarily unnecessary hate, but a lot of hate. It's not bad, but I will ride it if I have time. That's about the only reason that I would ride it though. Otherwise, it's just kind of there. Splash Mountain! Again, I love Splash Mountain. I made a whole separate video about the Splash Mountain re-theme, but I still do love it. I think I might put it in the top category again. It's definitely my favorite mountain. Yeah, it's going top tier. And the last ride for Magic Kingdom is Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. This ride is fun. I think it belongs in must ride because it's not the most iconic ride in Magic Kingdom, but it's definitely worth riding every time I go. I actually got Galactic Hero once and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So yeah, must ride, Buzz Lightyear. Next, I'm going to be ranking Epcot rides. I feel like my opinion on Epcot rides is a little all over the place, and I feel like I'm going to upset a little bit of people with my Epcot opinions. I have a lot of Epcot opinions, so Journey into Imagination with Figment. This ride sucks, and I love Figment to death, but this ride is terrible. Honestly, throw the whole ride away. I ride it almost every time I go to Epcot, again, because it has a short line, and 2, because I love Figment. However, throw the whole ride away. Throw the whole ride away and start over. Give me more Figment, give me less Nigel Channing, give me more Dreamfinder too. I know that's like not gonna happen ever, but keep Figment at least and just redo this ride completely. Do something else with this pavilion. Throw away the whole ride, trash the whole thing, and start over. Grand Fiesta Tour! I love this one. This is such a fun ride. I do this one again almost every time that I go to Epcot. I think it's a must ride. Must ride for sure. The Seas with Nemo and Friends is just meh. There's nothing going on here that is special. There's nothing going on here that is really worth the time to do. I do it quite a bit because it's always a walk on and it's easier to get into the aquarium through the ride. At least for me. Like, if I'm gonna go into the aquarium, I'm gonna get a ride out of it at least. But the ride is really not that super unique, so it's just meh. Living with the Land, oh my god. Yes. Yes, Living with the Land. I thought this ride was boring until I was about 15 or 16. And then I realized that Living with the Land is amazing. And I enjoy going through there and looking at the greenhouses. I think it's such a relaxing ride. Also, the Land Pavilion smells so good all the time because Garden Grill is in there. So, like, I always love going into the Land Pavilion. Also, if you have not eaten at Garden Grill, go eat at Garden Grill. That restaurant rocks. I'm not sure that Living with the Land is iconic, though. Like, it's iconic in my heart. But when I think about iconic, I'm thinking like classic Disney or something that really sticks out to me. I think it's just a must ride. However, it's a great ride. Mission Space. Burn it in a fire. I hate Mission Space. Not only because it replaced Horizons and I'm upset that I will never get to ride it, but because it's genuinely a bad ride. And I hate it. I hate you, Mission Space. That is all. Soarin'! I really like Soarin'. It gets more fun every time that I ride it. I personally think that Soarin' Around the World is better than Soarin' Over California. Oops. But like, yeah. Soarin' Around the World, I've done it a lot more since it was Soarin' Around the World because I prefer it to Soarin' over California. So before, I maybe would have put it in Will Ride if I have time, but now Soarin' is for sure a must ride. I really like Soarin'. Spaceship Earth! Oh my god! Yeah, Spaceship Earth, like, I don't know whether to put it at the top of the list or an iconic, because it's not everything we could have asked for and more. Like, I think it needs a little bit of work. Like, fix the ending to that ride, please. But it's Spaceship Earth. It's going in the top tier. I have to. I'm sorry. I know it needs an overhaul, and I want it to get an overhaul, but it's still one of my favorite rides at Disney World, so it's top tier for me. Frozen Ever After. I was one of those people that got really upset when I found out that they were taking out Maelstrom, and then this ride opened, and I was like, goodbye, Maelstrom, I don't miss you at all. I really like Frozen Ever After, and I think it's really fun. The only problem that I have with this ride is the screen faces. They look really stupid, but that's not enough to really bump it down too much. I'll put it in must ride. Everything in Epcot is like a must ride, except for Mission Space. And Test Track. I love Test Track. Besides Spaceship Earth, it might be my favorite ride at Epcot. I love the thrill of it. I miss the design your own car thing. I always thought that was really fun, and I always used to make like really stupid looking cars. I remember one time I made a Thanos looking car. Like, if Thanos was a car, what would he look like? And I called it the Thanos Mobile, and I'm still proud of it. I think it's a tier 2 icon. I can't quite put it on the level of like Space Mountain or anything, but like it for sure matches like Mad Tea Party and Dumbo, so like Test Track. All right, the next park that I'm going to be ranking their rides is Hollywood Studios. First up is Smugglers Run. This ride I like it just fine. I think it's a must ride. For sure, yeah, must ride. Next up, Rise of the Resistance. This is top tier. Again, not even a question. Rise of the Resistance is probably, no, it's definitely, objectively, the best ride at Disney World, and I stand by that. Even though Haunted Mansion is my spiritual favorite, Rise of the Resistance is the best ride at Disney World, and that's just kind of the way that is. So it's really good, and it blew my mind the first time that I did it, truly. I don't have better words to describe that, but yeah, it was amazing. Rockin' Roller Coaster, heck yeah! I love Rockin' Roller Coaster. I think it's so much fun. I love Aerosmith music, and I love roller coasters, so for me, this is kind of the best of both worlds, although I mostly only like Aerosmith music because I know it from this ride, so that's kind of a weird paradox. Like, I learned all of the Aerosmith music that I know from Rockin' Roller Coaster. So for me, it's no different than listening to like, I don't know, any other Disney parks music, because to me, it's just like, oh yeah, this is Hollywood Studios, not, you know, a band that's been around since before I was born. I think it's a tier 2 icon. Yeah, that's where it belongs. Tier 2 icon. Tower of Terror, on the other hand, though, that's like top tier. Yeah, it's going all the way to the top, baby. Go to the top, Tower of Terror, I love you. Alien Swirling Saucers. This ride is not worth a lot of the weight that it has, but I'll ride it if I have time. I feel like it's more than meh, just because I personally have fun on this ride, but it's not necessarily something that I have to do every time or something that I would recommend people do if it's their first time at Disney. There's much better things to do, so ride it if you have time. That's that. Slinky Dog Dash. I think I've only done this ride twice because every time I go to Hollywood Studios, it has like a 90-minute wait. It just kind of sits at 90 minutes all day. And I refuse to wait that for a ride that is this, not lame, but just not exciting. This is kind of the same thing as Mine Train, where it's just an over-glorified kiddie coaster that has like a 2-hour wait at all times, and I just can't. I'll put it in must ride because it is definitely the most similar to Mine Train in terms of experience for the overall wait, If this had a shorter line, I probably would ride it more. Toy Story Midway Mania. I really like this ride. It is the best of the Toy Story rides in my opinion, and I think it's really fun. I don't want to also put it in must ride because I just put Slinky Dog there, so I guess I'll put it in tier 2 iconic. I guess that's where it belongs. I'm putting it there. And lastly for Hollywood Studios is Star Tours. This ride is okay, and that's it. It's the weakest of all the Star Wars rides in the park, which I should hope so because the other ones are so new. It's just kind of meh. It's just kind of there. Like, I'll do it occasionally, but it's just not that good, and sometimes it makes me a little sick, so meh. Oh, also, Hollywood Studios was not including Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway because this was made as of January 2020, so Runaway Railway is not on this list. And Animal Kingdom rides, let's go. Expedition Everest, this ride is top tier. I can't even put it anywhere else. This is one of the best rides on Disney property. It is probably my favorite roller coaster in the world, either this one or the Hagrid ride at Universal. So yeah, Expedition Everest is amazing. Hashtag fix the Yeti. Yeah, I love Expedition Everest. It deserves a top tier spot. Dinosaur, again, another really fun ride. I really like Dinosaur. I do it almost every time I go to Animal Kingdom. I can't really remember a time that I went to Animal Kingdom and didn't do Dinosaur. I will wait a good long time for this ride. So I think I'll put it in tier 2 icon because I don't think that it's necessarily as iconic as some of the others, but like Dr. Seeker. You can't say that that man's not iconic. He is so iconic. Triceratops spin, oh god. Meh. Meh. It can exist, okay? I'm not gonna put it and throw the whole ride away, but like, Flight of Passage. This is a great ride, an excellent ride. For me, I think I'm gonna put it in iconic. I know this is a lot of people's favorite ride at Disney World, and I totally get that. It's an amazing ride. I think it belongs in iconic for me. Navi River Journey. This one is interesting because I feel like it could have been a lot better. And the shaman is awesome. Floating through Pandora is a wonderful concept. I think it's a beautiful ride. There's not much substance, though. I'll ride it if I have time. I guess that's about where I am on this one. Kilimanjaro Safari. Yeah. Honestly, this one's a must ride. It's really fun to see the animals. This one usually has a wait time that is doable. Yeah, it's a really good ride, and I enjoy it every time. Kali River Rapids is one of the most, not underwhelming, because if you're into Rapids rides, it's not a bad one. I just don't really care about Rapids rides, so I guess this one's just gonna have to go in meh for me. I almost never do this ride just because I don't care about Rapids rides. I don't really want to get soaked. I'll get a little splash when I'm at Disney, but I don't want to get drenched. I have been talking about doing water day for a while though, which is something that my roommates from the DCP came up with a while ago, and I'm gonna make a whole separate video on my DCP at some point, and that's basically where you go from park to park just riding the water rides, and I want to do that so bad. But I also want to do it for all of Orlando. So like, here's my concept for water day. You start out at SeaWorld, and you do Journey to Atlantis, and you do Infinity Falls. And then you go straight to Universal. And then at Universal, you do the Popeye ride, you do the Ripsaw Falls, and you do Jurassic Park. And then you hop over to Disney, and you do any ride that gets you even remotely wet. So you do Pirates of the Caribbean, you do Splash Mountain. I'm trying to think of other Disney rides that get you wet. Frozen Ever After. Well, obviously Kali River Rapids, because I just said that, but I think that's it. But you do all of the rides that get you wet at all of the Orlando theme parks, and I think that'd be so fun. I want to do that so bad. Maybe someday when I have time, I will go and do water day and come back and report and, you know, maybe vlog it a little bit and just see how it goes. But It'll have to be on a really hot summer day. And the last ride on this tier list is Primeval Whirl, which is dead now, so I guess they're the whole ride away. So I don't really have an option for that because the ride is literally gone. It's literally thrown away. So there we go. So that is my tier list of all of the Disney World attractions as of January 2020. So thank you all for watching. If you have any video ideas, make sure to leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm going to keep talking about whatever I want. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, share it with a friend or maybe consider subscribing. And until next time, bye!